following is a Learfield presentation of the Washington State Sports Network.
He buries it. The Cougs have taken the lead. This place is going to pop off.
The future of Cougar football begins now.
Sanders under pressure. Pulled down. He's sacked. Cougs will send the Buffs off the field.
The Cougar Signing Day Special.
There's some hidden gems in there.
Hit and dropped. Way behind the line of scrimmage. R.J. Stoll. Down the far sideline 30. Leighton Smithson could go 20. And he does. Leighton Smithson house call.
I think these coaches have gone out and, they've hit the pavement and they've found guys.
The Washington State Sports Network presents the Cougar Signing Day Special, presented by Northern Quest Resort and Casino. Earn bragging rights at Northern Quest in Spokane, Washington, with more slot machines, table games, restaurants, lounges, and luxury hotel rooms than anyone else in the region. Northern Quest. Yes, the best. More at northernquest.com. Here's the voice of the Cougars, Matt Chazanow.
All right, it's an exciting day here in the Cougar Football Complex. There are 23 new Cougs to announce as Washington State's signing class continues to roll through. If you've been on social media this morning, you've seen a lot of these names. If you haven't, and you're with us in a more conventional sense, if you will, we're going to roll through all of them. We're going to talk to Coach Dickert. We're going to talk to Coach Schmedding. We'll talk to Coach Arbuckle, and we'll talk to Taylor Long, our campus director of recruiting, and get the story of what it's like, kind of a day in the life if you were to come here and you were considering being a Coug. Well, how did the deal get sealed? And in lieu of just reading names, I'd like to just put a little nugget on some of these recruits, and then we'll talk to Coach Dickert here in just a few minutes. This is not alphabetical, or this is just by position, and this is in no particular order. But Evans Chuba is the quarterback of the class, just at the top of my list here. And again, this is pretty hot off the presses. But Evans Chuba, 6'3", 215, an athlete that really excited about freshman. One of 21 high school recruits in this class. Of course, nowadays in the era of the portal, that's not necessarily a given. So you've got 21 high school recruits. You have 2 transfers that are signed in right now, 23 new Cougs, 21 of them out of high school. Evans Chuba is one of them. He's from Montreal, Canada. He spent this past year in Florida at the Clearwater Academy International in Florida. 2 running backs in the class, 4 wide receivers, 4 offensive linemen, 5 defensive linemen, 3 of whom are edges, 2 linebackers, and then 5 defensive backs. You have 3 from the state of Washington, 1 from Coeur d'Alene, so 3 from Washington, 1 from Idaho. Mentioned Chuba from Canada, 10 from California, so a bunch have come over from California, and then a smattering elsewhere: Hawaii, Texas, Utah, Arizona, Colorado, Oregon, and actually Oklahoma. Of 2 that are not out of high school, Cyrus Webster is signed. He's a 6'3" edge, 255-pounder from West Jordan, Utah, but he's a transfer from Utah Tech. He had a really good year at Utah Tech. And then Tony Freeman is a junior college transfer, originally from Richmond, California, 5'9", 165. A sophomore is Tony Freeman. So 21 out of high school, 23 total. Again, it's signing day here, and the mood is great. There's great energy here in the Cougar Football Complex. The coaches are really excited about it, and I'm excited and eager to get the words here from Coach Dickert. We'll have Coach Dickert on for a couple of segments, and then the defensive and offensive coordinators, Coach Schmedding and Coach Arbuckle. Again, running down the list and not just reading names off, but 2 running backs, Josh Joyner and Wayshawn Parker, both freshmen out of high school. Of the 4 receivers, 3 of them are out of high school. One of them is from Memphis, Tennessee. That's Isaiah Cobbs. Chris Barn is from Houston, Texas. And then Landon Wright is from Fresno, California. Tony Freeman being the junior college transfer I just mentioned. The offensive linemen, there are 4 of them, and one of them is 6'8", 325, Chris Leno from Seattle, Washington, 6'8", 325, and then Carson Osmus is from Camas, 6'5", 295. A.J. Hassan is an early enrollee. Also want to note here, the early enrollees, there will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 of these 23. I believe I have that right. 9 or 10 of these 23 will be here early in January, which is obviously just a little bit away. So they'll be here in just a few weeks to try to get that jump start, which has been really impactful for a lot of the Cougs who have come here over the last 10 years or so, and that kind of started to be more of the trend when you could get here early. Tony Freeman, the junior college wide receiver. He'll be here early. A.J. Hassan will be here early. 2 defensive linemen, and we're thinking maybe interior linemen, and then 3 edges. Jackson Cowgill and Hiram Benjamin Moores are defensive linemen, both freshmen. Cowgill from Colorado, Moores from Hawaii. Each of them 280 pounds. Cowgill is 6'4", Moores 6 feet tall. And then the edges, there are 3 of them. One of them is the senior transfer from Utah Tech. That's Cyrus Webster, 6'3", 255. And then Camden DeGraw is from just down the road from Coeur d'Alene. And Malachi Rice is from Oklahoma, 6'4", 220. DeGraw and Rice are both freshmen. Webster will be here early, the Utah Tech transfer. 2 linebackers, DJ Doss, freshman from Lancaster, California, and then Frank Chazanow, early enrollee from Granite Bay, California. Chazanow, 6'2", 215-pounder. And then 5 defensive backs, so there are 5 DBs in this class, 2 of whom will enroll early. Jalen Edmond is a 5'9", 155-pound freshman from Carson, California. And I'm hearing great things about Kenny Worthy, the 3rd, the 5'11", 175-pound freshman from Arizona. And he will be early with Edmond. So those 2 will be here early. The other 3 are all freshmen. They'll be here from out of high school. Hunter Haynes is a 6'1", 185-pound freshman from West Lynn, Oregon. There's been a lot of talent coming out of West Lynn, football and basketball and baseball over the last few years. Kaio Patu is, if you follow the pack, you know the Patu family. Brother plays for Stanford. Other brother plays for Oregon, I believe. 6 foot, 175-pound freshman from Sacramento. Ari Patu's QB for Stanford. And then Tyson Weaver is a 6'1", 190-pound freshman from Sammamish, Washington, one of the 3 Washingtonians in this class, along with, again, the one from Idaho. So really 4 within the very direct region, along with the Hunter Haynes commit from West Lynn, Oregon. So a good Pacific Northwest showing here in this class. As, again, 23 new Cougs are here, and I'm excited to hear from the coaches and try to get as much information on all 23 as possible. 23 new Cougs are in. It's a really exciting day here in the Cougar Football Complex. Some greater context to discuss to some degree as well. Not that long ago, just about a week or so ago, there was a schedule announcement. We're still waiting on some dates and some specificity there, but a sense of what's to come here for this next football season as I crane my neck and look up and see that Apple Cup clock ticking away here in the Cougar Football Complex. 269 days plus some time as Washington State will play Washington Lumen Field next year, earlier in the year than we're accustomed to as the Apple Cup continues. We'll take a break, and we'll get Coach Dickert on live here from the Cougar Football Complex in about 2 minutes as we have 23 new Cougs in the 2024 signing class here. 23 new Cougs here for Washington State football. We'll take a break, come back with Coach Dickert next.
Saturdays are made for football, and when the game is on, we're finally off. Off duty, offline, out of office. A cracked Coors Light is our do not disturb message to the world. On game day, we don't think about the 9 to 5, but worry about the 4th and 1. So this Saturday, grab a Coors Light, press play on some pigskin, and pause on everything else. Coors Light, mountain cold refreshment, made to chill. Proud partner of Cougar Athletics. 2021 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. Celebrate responsibly.
Well, they're doing it again, Mrs. Claus.
Who and what?
Northern Quest, trying to upstage me. This year they're giving away another $90,000 Porsche, a Macan. You know how fast they go. And those headlights with LED matrix beam technology? Rudolph's gonna need therapy again.
Win a new Porsche Macan in the Winter Wheels giveaway at Northern Quest. Grand prize drawing December 28th. See online for details.
You're listening to Cougar Football on the Washington State Sports Network from Learfield.
This Washington State University sports broadcast is brought to you in part by Pullman Regional Hospital, the official hospital of Washington State Athletics. Rural communities face unique healthcare challenges. By providing hands-on opportunities for WSU students in health sciences, nursing, pharmacy, and the Elson Floyd College of Medicine, Pullman Regional Hospital is helping to shape the future of local healthcare. Learn more at pullmanregional.org. Pullman Regional Hospital and Washington State, partners in excellence.
This Cougar football tailgating moment is brought to you by Canoe Ridge Vineyards, proud partner of Washington State University Athletics. Smart Cougar tailgaters know to pair award-winning Canoe Ridge wines with a crowd-pleasing pregame meal. Your mealtime roster will score big points with Canoe Ridge wines backing it up. Canoe Ridge Vineyards, representing the best of award-winning Washington wines with more than 85 critical scores of 90-plus points. Visit them at their Walla Walla tasting room or at canoeridgevineyard.com. Go Cougs!
Your live Cougar Football Complex. It's 2023's signing day special brought to you by Northern Quest. Joined here by Coach Dickert. Coach, Thank you for letting us put you to work here. I know it's a busy morning for you, and thank you for throwing the headset on here for a couple segments.
Well, I know this. It's just an exciting day. Obviously the coaches, the program, this is a pivotal moment because don't forget, Chaz, this is just our second full recruiting class.
Yeah.
365 days to find the right guys. And I think that's been the theme that we've talked about with our staff really this whole year. Let's find the right people, the blue collar, the chip on the shoulder, the guys that love ball. And you'll even notice as we kind of go throughout this, we wanted to compact back to the West Coast. Let's stay true to our roots. Let's find a bunch of guys that can go out there with a blended skill set and really improve our football team. But we're going to stay young, and we're going to build and develop this football program the right way, and we got the right guys on this list.
I've heard you reference the high school recruiting and versus the portal and the varying philosophies. Like, there's so many different ways to do this now from program to program.
Well, I think that's the biggest thing. One of my good buddies just got the head job in North Dakota State, and he said it's roster management. It's not recruiting. So we have a GM, Ron Schlager. You got a scouting department. You got your recruiting services, and it's managing every side of it. Recruiting the high school players, recruiting your roster, seeing how you can add value in the portal once it all settles down. So there's a huge matrix to it. But the one thing I love about this is back to the grassroots. We get to know these kids. You get 365 days to go in their school, to go in their home, to talk to them on the phone, where some of the other recruiting is like a shotgun marriage, right? So I love this, that we got the right guys, and we're very confident in that.
23 new guys, 21 of them out of high school. There are two transfers who have come in. I know that it's hard to say, well, we're excited about this kid because I don't mean to discount another kid.
Correct.
But are there any that do jump off, again, not to discount anybody that we don't mention here, but I want to make sure to tell the story of who you're excited about and what we can highlight here.
Well, I just think the biggest thing we went into this class, it was, really getting the whole picture, and let's start obviously with the most important position, the quarterback, right? So Evans Chuba was a great story. We sent the whole staff to Mercer, Georgia, right? Went down to Sun Belt country in the summer to see some skilled players. And, just kind of by happenstance, he was there. We got to see him. We got to, work him out, do a bunch of different things, and just listening to his story coming all the way from Montreal, Canada, to Clearwater, Florida to play. Just an amazing, I want to create the vision of like Anthony Richardson.
Wow.
Right? 6'3", 215, big, strong arm. Had some kind of injury things this season, but we stuck with him, and he's going to pay off in a big, big way. And I'm talking leadership. I'm talking energy. He's the guy that said, hey, Coach, I want to talk to these. Once they commit, I want to talk to these guys. I want to bring them all together. So I just think that's what's special. And then it'll always start for me up front, right? So these sizes, these are our sizes. 6'4", 285. Chris Lino is 6'8", 325. Osmus, and then Thorpe. I want to create a vision of a young Abe Lucas, a guy that's a 4-sport athlete, not 3, 4-sport athlete.
This is Thorpe.
Yeah, he's an Eagle Scout.
Wow.
He's just the guy that does it all with extreme athletic traits. And you'll see up and down this list, too, Chaz, about guys that play both ways. And Xavier Thorpe was the defensive lineman of the year, on the other side, and we're going to have him play offensive line. So there's just athletes there, but it'll always start up front, getting those big guys that really fit our mold. Obviously a lot of guys from, two of those guys will be from Washington. AJ Hassan, he was a linebacker last year, right? He was a tight end. Like, we want big guys that we can put our stamp on. And one thing I'm really proud of is, 7 of these mid-year high school guys are going to be coming in January. So we're going to get a chance to really see them, develop them, and mold them early on, and they can make some impact.
Thorpe, 6'5", 270, basketball, track, lacrosse, and football.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, and he taught me a lot about lacrosse. I didn't even know what the guy with the carrying the big stick even meant, right?
Yep.
So it's just fun to just listen to all their stories, and then obviously receiver was a big position of need, and to go out there and get a bunch of playmakers, and Chris Barnes, jumps off the table right away, obviously from a storied program in North Shore down in Texas. They lost to Duncanville in the championship game, but he had 3 touchdowns, a kickoff return that was called back, and he's just electric in the slot. Tony Freeman will give us, an instant Lincoln Victor type guy in that slot coming from the College of San Mateo. And Landon Wright, just excited about, all these guys' future and what they can do, and really proud that both of these tailbacks, Josh and Wayshawn, will be here in January, right? So we love our core with Leo and Javinsky, but to add these guys right into the mix, this is an important position of need, obviously running the ball. And, Wayshawn hit almost 2,000 yards, out of Grant High School in the Bay. So, these offensive guys, we're just excited to plug them into our system and watch these guys compete.
How much has this process changed over the last 3 years, 2-3 years, rule changes and the climate of college football and everything that's going on?
Well, I mean, I think the conversations have changed. I know just making sure that these guys are still making decisions for the right reasons, finding the right place with the right people. I think obviously we're selling consistency. Our whole coaching staff is back. We're selling what we want to do and how we want to do it. So I think anytime you can create a vision for a young person, you can surround them with really good people. And I think everyone understands who we are here at Washington State. And that's the city, it's the community, it's the football team. But it takes everybody to recruit these guys, right? So it isn't just me and the coaches. I mean, it's the staff, it's the faculty, it's our wives on the weekends, it's having them over to my house for socials. I mean, it's a whole party of what we need to do to recruit, not just them, their families, and show them why Washington State's the best place for them.
Underrated element of this equation, by the way. All the coaches back. I mean, it's not that common anymore in college football that all the coaches return.
Oh, that's definitely not an underrated element. That's not. That's a big part of the consistency piece of, not just recruiting, right, and hearing the same voice, but hey, this is the guy that's going to be coaching me. That's an important factor.
Continuity is hard to find at all. It's very chaotic in college football. When things stay together, in and of itself, that's an advantage.
Oh, I mean, it's huge, and I've sold them all that. We want to build something here together, and there's no shortcuts to success. So, like I said, we want to do it the old-fashioned approach. We want to look to high school first. We want to find the right people and guys that we can put through our developmental process. And like I said, we talked about offense so far, but Xavier Thorpe's that guy because he probably after the season, he's 255. But I'm just telling you, once he gets in our nutrition program, he starts doing one thing, Wayshawn, these guys are just going to keep growing. And, I always tell them, pretty soon there's going to be people flipping through the program being like, how the heck did the Cougs get this guy?
Sure.
Right? Because they put him through the process and got a bunch of guys that love the work.
Earn your bragging rights at Northern Quest with more slot machines, table games, restaurants, lounges, and luxury hotel rooms than anyone else in the region. Northern Quest, yes, the best. More at northernquest.com. We'll keep you for one more segment.
You bet.
All right, let's do it. We'll keep Coach Dickert here for one more. 23 new Cougs here. We're breaking it all down live here in the Cougar Football Complex.
Whenever I see somebody purchasing something with their WSU card, I always like to give them a go Cougs. It brings me back to when I was in Pullman.
From the rolling hills of the Palouse to keys jingling before every kickoff, there's something special about being a Cougar. That's why BECU created the WSU credit and debit cards. It's just one more way to show pride for a place we all call home. Grab your WSU card today. BECU, power in people. Membership required. Restrictions apply. Call 800-233-2328 for details about credit costs and terms. Federally insured by NCUA. Member compensated for participation.
Whoever said good things come to those who wait clearly never ordered in the McDonald's app. Just order ahead in the app, and you can pick up when you get here. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Cougars fans, now you can win all season. On game day, get a 20-piece chicken McNuggets and 2 medium fries for just $10.99 when you order ahead on the app. Valid once per day through December 1st, 2023. At participating McDonald's, must opt into rewards.
This is former Coug Eric Coleman.
Picked off, intercepted, touchdown coming into the end zone, Eric Coleman.
And you're listening to Cougar Football. Go Cougs.
There is a local ranch just outside of Boise, Idaho, that has masterfully bred Japanese Wagyu cattle with American Angus cattle. Now this American-style Wagyu beef is available to you and your family. Rosar's presents Snake River American-style Wagyu beef. Snake River Farms beef is famously found in many exclusive 5-star steak restaurants. Snake River Farms, available at your local neighborhood Rosar's.
Hampton Inn Pullman is just a short drive from the WSU campus, centrally located to restaurants and shopping. They've got you covered for all your lodging needs. With their spacious rooms, famous Hampton waffles, a cozy outdoor patio, a gift shop for all your Cougar gear needs, and the friendliest staff in town to make you feel right at home. Visit HamptonByHilton.com to reserve a room for your next trip to the Palouse. Coug owned and Coug managed. It matters where you stay. Hampton Inn Pullman, Hilton for the stay.
Back in your live Cougar football complex, joined by Coach Dickert as we break down this signing class here. 23 new Cougs. Mentioned the offense a little bit there in that first segment. Let's break down the defense. You got 2 defensive linemen on my list, 3 edges. So 5 on the defensive line in total of sorts, 2 linebackers, and then 5 defensive backs are listed here.
Yeah, I mean, just such a great rounded class. I think anytime, same thing like offense, you can reestablish yourself at the defensive line position. Obviously, we lose the 2 big edge rushers in RJ and BJ, but the big one right out the gate is Cyrus Webster, and I think an instant impact transfer, a guy that can replace the production, and it was cool. So we showed him some stats like RJ and BJ in every major statistical category improved from 22 to 23. That's sacks, that's TFLs, that's tackles, that's everything, right? So when you present a picture like that, you will develop in this last year. And he's at Utah Tech to get him into our nutrition program, strength program. He just got a motor that doesn't shut off, and those are the biggest things that we noticed. And, surround himself. Malachi Rice, I'm just telling you, watch this kid play basketball. Right, he's 6'4", he's long, he's dunking. I mean, it is just fun to watch these guys as athletes. And another guy with just a unique story. And like I said, Rob Schlager does an amazing job kind of using a whole bunch of analytics to find these guys. And you're like, how did the Cougs find a guy from McAlester, Oklahoma? But it's through a bunch of different things, and it's because he's an athlete. And then you start watching him. He's just an amazing story, right? Grandpa Ronnie raised him, and just so proud of what he's going to do and what he's going to become. And then obviously Coach Callaghan at a defensive interior position. Jackson Calgo was the first one to commit to us April 13th.
I remember the name.
Right, and I remember coming off of spring practice and FaceTimed him. He's like, I want to be a Coug, and he's a state champion. He saw it all the way through. Every time I see him, I swear he just keeps getting bigger and bigger. And then Hiram Benjamin Morris from Hawaii. He's going to be another one of those interior defensive linemen that are just super special. And obviously all the defensive backs. What I love about our 4-2-5 scheme is we're just bringing a bunch of athletic guys, and let's find the fit. So obviously Tyson Weaver, Hunter Haynes, Jalen Edmond, those guys will be playing more some of those safety positions. Same thing with K.O. Patu. And then obviously Kenny Worthy, a mid-year enrollee down there, speedster out of Arizona. Just really excited about the playmakers that we've collected in defensive backfield. And then, Frank Chazanow will be here right away in January to give us some much-needed young depth at that Mike position. And DJ Doss, I've done this a lot throughout our history, is just find athletes, right? So DJ, was kind of a two-way player at his previous high school, transferred, in his senior year, and they played him, over 1,000-yard receiver right about there. But some of the best defensive players I've ever coached were just athletes, and we've had a great track record wherever I've been of just finding the right fit, and DJ is that right fit, and he'll continue to grow at that linebacker position.
How do you balance talking to a kid out of high school who you think might take a couple of years versus, oh, man, we need to play somebody right now at a certain spot?
I just think, that's a common theme, Chaz. I just talk about even with guys on our roster, right? When you would talk 10 years ago, hey, a kid redshirted, then he, carved a rollout freshman and sophomore year and then started as a junior and senior. 10 years ago, you'd be like, yeah, what a career. But now everyone's so impatient, right? So you got to sell the developmental process, putting you in the slow cooker, not the microwave, especially with these big guys, and just know there's a process to all this. And, we wanted to go high school because I'm okay with playing guys early. And so some of these guys got to come in and compete. I just sell them on our world's an earn it world, right? And this is going to be the most competitive environment you've ever been a part of. So come in here, compete, learn and grow, make a ton of mistakes, but get better every day. And I think we got tons of competitive guys on here. And that's, like I said, the right guys are on this list.
And the context of this list, all of the coaches return, and I want to be really careful about this next comment. I don't want to discount any kids who left and be dismissive in departures, but there's so much retention from the roster from last year to this year. That has to be part of this story, and so I need to bring that up with you, although the portal can be a sensitive topic. But
I think it's the biggest part of the story, Chaz. We got a bunch of players here that want to be here.
A lot.
And hopefully we've created an environment that they enjoy with a bunch of people they love doing it with. Yes, we lost a bunch of seniors. I'm excited for the new leadership within this team, right? The new Simulanis, the Jackson Latamuas, and, John Mateers, and just, Kalani, like just seeing these guys rise up now because they've been waiting in the wings. And that's how you know you got the right culture and you got the right people in the building. And those conversations with the kids that we recruited last year, it's just so refreshing. Like, Coach, I want to be here. I'm rolling. And, same thing with these kids. You just get to know them on such a different level. And when you provide them with a great place to be and a lot of opportunity, they want to stay and be a part of it. And I think that's what you're seeing right now within our team.
This is the first thing that I thought of, but that's not. This show is about the welcome, right? It's about the hug and the embrace.
Well, that's what I'm talking about. It's the roster management. It's every phase of it to make sure you're building a consistent football team, because that's what it takes to win. And I don't believe in every year, it's a new team, right? But you want it to be consistent through the developmental process. You don't want to pour into a kid and then you're not reaping the rewards of that. So there'll always be some change. I think that's what, today's world says. But, like I said, when you find the right people, they see, their purpose and what they're doing.
Got you for a couple more minutes, then we'll get Coach Schmedding on here at the bottom of the hour. Before we let you go, context of this also is there's a new look to the Pac-12, to say the least. The non-conference schedule and conference schedule, not with dates specifically always and times and all that, but we know who we're playing. Texas Tech, Washington, Oregon State, et cetera. Give me your 30,000-foot view. We now have a schedule out. There's a lot of it is settled. A lot of the dust has settled to some degree, at least just for next year.
Well, I think the biggest thing is, we know the target now. I think that's always been the question. Hey, what is the target? We know the target. So I think our administration and obviously our program has done a good job of putting this, schedule together with non-conference opponents. That's the biggest thing, and we're excited about going forward. Obviously, getting Tech here was a really big deal. There's a lot of things behind the scenes that went into that. Excited for the Apple Cup in Lumen Field. I think that's going to be a crazy environment. And, Boise's a top 25 team. Fresno's a top 25 team. I think the Mountain West was creative on making us play those guys on the road. But at the end of the day, we're ready to attack this schedule. But you know how it is, Chaz, and in my view, that's way down the road.
For
right?
sure.
It's getting this team back in January, getting it energized, but excited about what where it ended up and what we need to do to keep attacking that thing and go win a bunch of football games.
Well, I'm excited for you, and look, it's refreshingly old-fashioned, if I may. I mean, it's 21 out of high school. Not that there's anything wrong with transferring. That's great, but when you see 80 new kids on a team in a year, literally,
I know.
this is not what that is. This is it's clearly an indication of where the program is and what you're trying to do.
I think the best part of this, Chaz, is there's just so much hard work when I look at this list. Like I said, the calls, the visits, the plane rides, and to see you finally have a collection of the right type of people, it just makes it all really rewarding. And I know all of our coaches, though, are ready for a break.
I bet they
It's been a long season into recruiting, but this is just a great day. Like I said, Evans signed at 4 a.m. our time.
So you've been up since.
We've been rolling through it. We've been excited. There's been plenty of coffee and celebrations and smiling. And like I said, we got the right guys in our program, and that's what it's about.
Congratulations.
Thank you, Chess.
Yeah, thank you. That's Coach Dickert
go
here.
Cougs.
Absolutely. We'll talk to Coach Schmedding next as the Cougs have 23 new Cougs announced here today, locked in for signing day.
Now, I like my fantasy league and all, but it won't let me bet the spread on game day. So once my lineup's set, I head straight to Turf Club Sportsbook in Northern Quest for real sports betting and wall-to-wall HD TVs right off the casino floor. Heck, I can even place bets from my phone while I'm there with their new mobile app. Huh, that's another thing my fantasy league can't do. Turf Club Sportsbook, the ultimate game changer, only in Northern Quest.
Saturdays are made for football, and when the game is on, we're finally off. Off duty, offline, out of office. A cracked Coors Light is our do not disturb message to the world. On game day, we don't think about the 9 to 5, but worry about the 4th and 1. So this Saturday, grab a Coors Light, press play on some pigskin, and pause on everything else. Coors Light, mountain cold refreshment, made to chill. Proud partner of Cougar Athletics. 2021 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. Celebrate responsibly.
Cougar football lives here.
Up the middle, touchdown! 1 second left. Cougars on top.
On the Washington State Sports Network from Learfield.
We had a student athlete on our basketball team that went down in the first half, and they rushed him over to the hospital. I cleared out whatever room they needed to clear out, ran whatever tests they needed to run on him, and lo and behold, he was on the court for the end of the game.
Pat Shun, Director of Athletics at Washington State University.
We're obligated to provide world-class health care to our student athletes. You can't provide world-class health care without world-class people. It is a priority for everybody at Washington State and our hospital partners.
Washington State University and Pullman Regional Hospital, partners in excellence.
It's college football's latest tradition. It's fierce, glorious, and ridiculously delicious. It's the Nom Nom Snack Bowl Flyaway. Just download the Nom Nom app to enter the competition. Play all season long to score free snacks and tasty tailgate treats. One lucky champion will win a free trip for 2 to the Pac-12 championship game in Las Vegas, Nevada. Go Cougs! Ready for a snack down? Download the Nom Nom app to find out. Nom Nom. Life in the snack lane.
Back here live, Cougar Football Complex, joined by our defensive coordinator, Jeff Schmedding. Next game day, grab a Coors Light, press play on some pigskin, and pause on everything else. Coors Light, mountain cold refreshment, made to chill. 2023 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. Celebrate responsibly. Coach Schmedding, congratulations on the class here. You can tell pretty quick, like, energy's palpable, right? So I've been doing this long enough now. I can walk in, get a sense of, how's signing day gone? I know what folks are going to say, but it feels like a lot of genuine excitement here in the building.
Oh, I think no question. I mean, we were up here early like everybody else in the country, but it went the way we wanted it to go. So we're excited about a lot of variety and versatility in this recruiting class.
Well, let's talk about the defensive side. You've got 5 defensive linemen, 2 noted as linemen here. Maybe that's for the interior part for Coach Caligas, and then 3 edges, if you will, on the outside there, and then 2 linebackers and 5 defensive backs. So let's start there in the trenches. Jackson Cowgill, who Coach mentioned was maybe the first signee in the class, like way back, and then Hiram Benjamin Moores, and Coach loves Moores.
Yeah, actually, both those guys, are going to add value, and I think they'll have the potential to add value fairly quickly. I mean, they're, Jackson, you mentioned, has been with us the whole entire time, and what he brings to the defensive line is what you're looking for. I mean, the defensive line, all these guys we're about to talk about, we think of them as the tip of the spear. I mean, they have the ability to affect, the game on every single snap. So, we feel really good about both those guys inside.
The edges there, and whenever he hears the word edges now, you think R.J. Stone, you think Brandon Jackson, right? And so those 2 have departed. Cyrus Webster is one who's a senior. He's a Utah Tech transfer. When you see a transfer as a senior who had a really good year, great year for Utah Tech, you think immediate impact, 6'3", 255. Is that fair?
That is absolutely fair. And, spent some time with him before he came on his visit. He was here just recently, but Coach Miley had a relationship with him, and the first thing I would say with him is, as good as he is as a player, you're even more blown away by the person. It took about the first 5 minutes, when we were talking with him, and I think he excused himself to use the bathroom. Or somebody looked at Frank, I'm like, we got to get this guy. Like, he is wired the right way, and then obviously, the talent and the skill and the work ethic really shows up on film. But I truly believe his best football is yet to come.
So then Camden DeGraw and Malachi Rice, and that's Rice with a W, are two true freshmen. One from Coeur d'Alene. Camden DeGraw is from right nearby, Coeur d'Alene, and then Malachi Rice is from McAllister, Oklahoma.
Yeah, absolutely. So two different areas. Both have, when you look at these guys, they have length, they have athletic ability, a little bit of rawness, which you want in the development phases. I think that both of those guys, certainly have the ability to rush the passer. That's what we're looking for first, and an edge. Some people call them DNs, some call them edges. But the bottom line is they have to rush the passer. They have to set an edge in the run game. You're going to, stun them and those type of things and drop them every once in a while. So you're looking for versatility in those guys, and they both certainly have that.
Do you know McAllister, Oklahoma? Have you been to McAllister, Oklahoma?
I have not been to McAllister, Oklahoma. Yeah. Coach Miley took care of that. But I have seen McAllister film of him playing basketball, too, and that is pretty impressive as well.
Right?
Yes.
All right, so heck of an athlete. He's 6'4", 220. Linebackers, Frank Chazanow, he's a freshman, early enrollee. He'll be here January. By the way, Cyrus Webster will also be an early enrollee. He'll be here in January. Seems to make a pretty big difference.
It does. It just gives a jump start, right? And not even, the obvious thing is the football side of things, but there is a little bit of a grace period of learning, especially for somebody coming from high school. What is college about? Where is things on campus? Sure. All those things, get taken care of early on so they can move further faster. DJ
Doss, 6 foot, 205-pound freshman that coach really described as an athlete, and maybe before a specific linebacker. Like he's a premier athlete. And then Frank Chazanow is 6'2", 215. Both are freshmen. Both are from California, and they're noted as linebackers here. Chazanow will be an early enrollee.
Yeah, so Frank is chomping at the bit. I think he'd be here right now if he could. But he's somebody we recruited early on. Both DJ or Dejan, we call him DJ. You'll hear him referred to that most of the time. But both those guys have a little bit different skill set, but that's what we're really looking for in that position. Frank. Is going to be here a little bit earlier and ready to go. He played through some injuries and things like that. He's a tough kid. He's big time rugby player. Does boxing, all kinds of stuff. So when you look at all of his background, physicality is not really an issue for him. Dejan, Coach mentioned athlete, and that's what you see on film. That's what you see in his body type. I think the sky's the limit for him. He played multiple positions in high school, and just to see like his growth from when we first started recruiting him until now, he's on a great trajectory.
Chazanow, the number 35 rated inside linebacker in the country, depending on which service you look at. Boxes. I don't think I've ever seen that before. To say he boxes and plays rugby. That's a tough kid.
Well, he boxes mostly for training. Sure. And he actually works with a former player that I was able to be a part of coaching at a different school. But he, knowing who he's working with, that just puts another stamp on the toughness of Frank Chazanow.
Yeah, Frank Chazanow, just sounds like a boxer. Yeah, 5 defensive backs, 2 early enrollees, and these are 5 freshmen, so 5 out of high school. Jalen Edmond, 5'9", 155 from Carson, California. Hunter Haynes, who's a recent commit, 6'1", 185 freshman from West Lynn, Oregon. Folks in the Pacific Northwest kind of know West Lynn has a lot of talent. Is Ko Patu? I believe. Ko Patu, 6 foot, 175-pound freshman. I know the Patu family by his brothers in the league. Sacramento, California. Tyson Weaver, 6'1", 190, big, 6'1", 190 from Sammamish. And then Kenny Worthy, 5'11", 175 from Buckeye, Arizona. I don't know Buckeye. Is that Phoenix, maybe? I'm not sure.
Just outside of Phoenix. Yeah.
And I know that Coach Brown was really excited about his abilities.
Absolutely. And, you just listed a lot of guys, and they all have, a little bit different skill sets and things like that. And really, when you're looking at football right now, especially on the defensive side of it, versatility, is really the key. If you want guys that, can play first through fourth down, and you can line up in this day and age in a team that's going to run 2 backs, and next game it's all 4 wides. So you want guys with versatility, and I think that's what this group brings. I mean, you've got a good diverse group that has different skill sets. Some of them a little bit more coverage cover guys, some a little bit more physicality, but it does allow you to have an elite secondary, here in the future, and really excited about all of them.
What's your 30,000-foot view? I mean, do you deal with the offensive side, talking to kids at all, like in the process? Like, how is the division of labor, I suppose, split up just in the putting this class together, 23 kids?
Yeah, so early on we do our areas, so everybody's
Okay.
assigned certain areas, and you get to get the information in for all positions, and then as the year goes, it starts to whittle down to your position, your side of the ball, and it gets a lot more specific. But we do, to use your term, the 30,000-foot view. We kind of start with that,
right,
and then it squeezes down, and then it's really about set targets later on.
I'm always blown away. There's so many kids playing ball in
Mhm.
so many places, and there's a day, right? It's coming up again soon because there's another signing period,
Sure.
right? But there's a day coming up where you're going to go to either a recruiting event or you're going to make a kind of the set of rounds to the high schools in an area, California, wherever you may be, and you've got to figure out who's going to. I mean, it's both a science, but really an art. Like there's a lot to that. It's hard to go, yeah, that's going to work, and I want to meet this kid and talk to his parents.
No question. I want to give props to our recruiting, department. They do a great job, and Rob Schlager, heads that up, and he's works nonstop. I mean, he needs more of a break than anybody.
He does work nonstop.
Yeah, he's nonstop, and then it's about at that point it's about relationships, and everybody says that, but it's about developing relationships, continuing relationships, and making sure that you're asking the right questions and getting the right answers. And it is not an exact science. If it was exact science, Tom Brady wouldn't have gone in the 6th round. You know what I mean? So no one remembers who was drafted before him, and they had a lot of information. So what we try to find is certainly we're going to know about the athleticism. We're going to know about what we see on film, but what you're also trying to figure out is what's inside the kid, right? I mean, that's really the difference maker. I mean, does he love football? Is he a good, high character person? Which I feel like we've done a great job in this class of finding that combination of, is he a high character individual that wants to develop, and does he love football? Because a lot of people love recruiting, but do they love football, right? And I think this crew is a group of football players.
Thank you, Coach. Thank you for this time. We're going to talk to Coach Arbuckle, who very distinctly was faking play-by-play before I was on here. I think he wants to take the gig.
That figures. These offensive guys, they got plenty of time.
Thank you, Coach.
All right.
That's Coach
thank you.
Schmedding here. Yeah, defensive coordinators. We get set to talk to Coach Arbuckle next.
Bro, you go hard for the WSU Cougs.
What do you mean?
You're literally wearing a Coug jersey that you bought from the Coug store with your Coug debit card. And you don't stop talking about how every time you use your card, Gisa donates to the Cougar Athletic Fund.
I guess I do go pretty hard for my Cougs.
If you go hard for your Cougs, get your WSU card today at Gisa.com. Go Cougs!
Whenever I see somebody purchasing something with their WSU card, I always like to give them a Go Cougs. It brings me back to when I was in Pullman.
From the rolling hills of the Palouse to keys jingling before every kickoff, there's something special about being a Coug. That's why BECU created the WSU credit and debit cards. It's just one more way to show pride for a place we all call home. Grab your WSU card today. BECU, power in people. Membership required. Restrictions apply. Call 800-233-2328 for details about credit costs and terms. Federally insured by NCUA. Member compensated for participation.
You're listening to Cougar Football on the Washington State Sports Network from Learfield.
This Cougar football tailgating moment is brought to you by Canoe Ridge Vineyards, proud partner of Washington State University Athletics. Smart Cougar tailgaters know to pair award-winning Canoe Ridge wines with a crowd-pleasing pregame meal. Your mealtime roster will score big points with Canoe Ridge wines backing it up. Canoe Ridge Vineyards, representing the best of award-winning Washington wines with more than 85 critical scores of 90-plus points. Visit them at their Walla Walla tasting room or at canoeridgevineyard.com. Go Cougs!
There is a local ranch just outside of Boise, Idaho, that has masterfully bred Japanese Wagyu cattle with American Angus cattle. Now this American-style Wagyu beef is available to you and your family. Rosars presents Snake River American-style Wagyu beef. Snake River Farms beef is famously found in many exclusive five-star steak restaurants. Snake River Farms, available at your local neighborhood Rosars.
back here live, the Cougar Football Complex. We're joined by offensive coordinator Ben Arbuckle as it's the 2024 Signing Day Special, brought to you by Northern Quest. 23 new Cougs, and we'll break down the offense here with the OC. Alaska Airlines, from WSU to the world. Cougs can fly to over 1,000 global destinations with Alaska Airlines. Book international travel now at alaskaair.com, your gateway to the globe. Coach, thanks for letting us put you to work here, buddy.
Hey, I appreciate you having me on, man. I'm excited to talk about these guys.
This is awesome. This is a huge day. We're welcoming in, let's see, 1 QB, 2 running backs, 4 wide receivers, and 4 new Coug offensive linemen. And Coach Dickert mentioned off the bat the quarterback, because everybody wants to know which QB have you gotten in this class. And then he very quickly pivoted, not in any way dismissing running backs and wide receivers, but he quickly pivoted to the offensive line. Chris Lenaus, 6'8", 325 out of high school. That is at least on paper, that is a size-ready body from Seattle Prep.
Yeah, no, he's all of it, too. You know, he's been on campus a handful of times, and I think I'm going to give him, like, the nickname Eclipse, because, like, he goes outside and he, like, blocks out the sun from everybody. So he is a big boy who has a ton of potential. Love that he's an in-state kid, too, but he's great personality, great family. You know, he's fun to be around. I'm just excited to be able to coach him. So but he is all of his size listed on paper.
That's not an exaggerated 6'8", 325. So 3 others for Clay McGuire to work with. A.J. Hassan, early enrollee. He's from Davis, California. His parents are very accomplished athletes. Mm-hmm. I think his mom is in the UC Davis Hall of Fame.
I believe that is correct.
I believe. 6'4", 285. Carson Osmus, 6'5", another big one, 6'5", 295. Now, part of that's kind of given. Yeah. But, you know, Abe Lucas threw 60 pounds on when he 100%. Got here. Like, he was not 325 when he got here to college. You know, he was 260. These boys are coming in big. Xavier Thorpe, 6'5", 270, freshman from Livermore, California.
Yeah, no, I think all 3 of those guys you listed, come from a athletic background. You know, AJ for sure has a pedigree of a great athlete, and so I think when you add great athlete with massive size, you have the ability to be a really good offensive lineman. You know, those other guys too, just guys throughout this whole process we were excited about watching on film. We've known we've wanted them for a long time, and Coach McGuire's done an unbelievable job in the recruiting process of those guys. Excited to get them on campus, get them bigger, stronger, acclimated with the offense, and see what they can do here in the future for the Cougs.
A.J. Hassan, mom confirmed in the UC Davis Basketball Hall of Fame. Father was a captain on the UC Davis football team. UC Davis, at times, a really good program there in a really pretty part right near Sacramento. Hassan, 104th overall prospect from ESPN.com in California on the offensive line spot. All right, quarterback, Evans Chuba. I didn't want to bury the lead. Coach mentioned Anthony Richardson. Coach Dickert did when comparing Evans Chuba, which makes everybody's mind go to, you know, one of the top picks in the draft to the Colts. So special athlete for sure.
Yeah, no, Evans. So, I mean, you almost forget how big these kids actually are. He came up for the Colorado game, and we got to hang out with him for a little bit, and I just forgot how big he was. And we had him on his official visit. I got to see him at camp, you know, went down to a big satellite camp in Georgia, and I just saw this freak throwing the ball, and then got to talking to him and talking to his coach, and really finding out that he's an unbelievable kid with a really cool story, you know, from Canada. His mom, Julie, incredible lady. You know, they both got to fly down to Florida today for the signing with all of his other teammates, which is like, so it's really special, and it's really cool just that he had the ability to do that. But, you know, talking about him as a player, I mean, he's explosive, he's strong, he's big, his extremities are like through the roof. Smooth throwing motion for a guy that big, moves well for a guy that big. Loves football too, loves talking ball. You know, every week my assistant John Kuzieski would get on a phone call with him and talk him through 5 to 10 plays that were in the game plan for that week. So he's obsessed with football. And I don't think you can ask for any more than a quarterback than a guy who's a great kid, a proven leader, and someone who loves football. And you get all that with Evans Chuba. So I'm fired up to be his coach and have him, you know, out here with us.
You see a lot of Canadian basketball. You don't see as much Canadian football. I mean, a little bit, but Montreal, Canada, and then he goes down to Florida. Looked like he had a little bit of a back issue this year that he's worked through, and so he's in Florida with his guys. But how does Canadian football feel in Montreal when you're recruiting? When you see Montreal, Canada, you go, well, it's not Texas, right?
Yeah.
It's not Florida. It's not California. It's not totally typical.
Yeah. You're right. It's not typical, but whenever I saw him at camp and then realized that he was playing at Clearwater there in Florida, I was like, okay, this kid's been
credibility.
playing. I was like, this guy's been playing ball. Like he knows the lay of the land. So it didn't worry me one bit. It was a little different, sure, but it didn't worry me any.
Running backs Josh Joyner and Wayshawn Parker, two freshmen, two true freshmen, so that you're coming out of high school. Joyner's 5'8", 175, and Parker's 5'10", 185. So they'll be in there with Pulalasi and with Schlenbaker.
Yep. Let's start with Josh. Josh, he's like a Swiss Army knife. He can do it all. He's really good running back. You hand him the ball, he has that one-cut ability and the explosion to get through the hole and get the yards and turn them into explosives, but you can also split him out wide. He's a fantastic route runner and has great ball skills, tracks the ball well, tucks it and gets vertical. So, I mean, there's just so much that you can do with that kid, and he's going to be a really fun player to have. And then Wayshawn, man, he's like that true running back. Like, hey, let's get him the ball. He's going to get the yards that are there. Then he'll make that one cut, make someone miss to turn those into explosive runs. And so he's a little bit of that bigger body. So both of those guys, I go back to Coach Ottawa has done an unbelievable job recruiting those guys too, talking to them all the time, going into the school. Just being around those guys and staying constant with them, building that connection, because they're two really, really good players that we're really, really excited to have. And correct me if I'm wrong, we're getting them in here early too. So it's like, yeah, let's roll, get y'all in here and see what we can work with.
Yeah, both will be here in like 2 weeks.
Exactly.
3
Coming
weeks.
up soon.
Yeah. Joyner and Parker both ran track.
Yep.
We've talked in all the years I've done signing days, coaches love multi-sport athletes, love track athletes.
Yep.
If you're not playing ball, you're getting faster.
Yeah. No, my whole thing with multi-sport athletes is it just shows me that you like to compete at the end of the day. Whether you're any good at the other sports you play or not, you're playing because you like to compete. And that's what I want to be around, and that's what I want to coach is a bunch of competitors. And so that's what that shows me is that, okay, I'm going to go out there, put my best foot forward in all these other sports and just compete my butt off.
Wide receivers, 4 of them, one of whom is a junior college transfer. Tony Freeman is coming in as a sophomore, 5'9", 165 from the College of San Mateo. He's originally from Richmond, California. And then 3 out of high school. So Chris Barnes is 5'8", 160 from Houston, Texas.
Yep.
Isaiah Cobbs, 5'8", 155 from Memphis, Tennessee.
Yep.
Don't see a ton of Memphis, Tennessee. That's really fun. And then Landon Wright, 5'11", 175 from Fresno, California. So you've got Texas, Tennessee, and then 2 Californians coming in here to the program. Let's start with Tony Freeman, the junior college transfer, 5'9", 165. Are we thinking immediate impact type player when you go to get a junior college transfer? Is that kind of the idea?
Yeah, 100%. I think he can come in and be a contributor for us immediately. He was kind of a late get last night. Some things were up in the air, and he let Chapo and Coach Edwards know last night that he was coming to us. I heard this morning at about 4 a.m., so I was fired up. But no, really good football player with the ball in his hand, has that one-step ability, that change direction and go. So I definitely think he can come in and contribute immediately for us and be a big-time player for us. But really fun. I had him on the visit last week and got to be around some of his family and everything. Just a really, really fine young man, too. Just how he was with his grandma was actually really touching. She kind of, was a big part in his life. And just seeing how he was around her and kind of almost how he was, like, protective towards her, I was like, this is the kind of guy I want to be around.
Yeah.
So just a great kid all around.
So you've got three true freshmen coming in, Chris Barnes, Isaiah Cobbs, and Landon Wright. And packaged in with these 3, before we cut you loose here, the word continuity, and I mean full roster, comes to mind. Because when you bring in high school kids now in this era of recruiting, there's some development time for kids who are just out of high school, which is to say you've got other guys back from last year that are going to play prominent roles. So all this kind of plays in. The whole coaching staff is back. You've got a lot of returners on the offensive side, and then you've got 3 high school receivers coming in to try to develop here. Chris Barnes, Isaiah Cobbs, and Landon Wright.
Yeah, no. Absolutely. Those kids, proven from what they've done on their high school tape. That's, why they're here, why we wanted them so bad. And the biggest thing is going to be those guys come in, learn as fast as they can and compete as fast as they can, because they're all super talented. With Chris Barnes and Isaiah, kind of that more slot build where you want to just get the ball in their hand now and watch them go.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever you turn on their highlight tape, that's like they both run great routes, have great hands, but whenever you just get the ball to them now and they go, I mean, watch out. And then, Landon, he's kind of that swing type, could play inside, could definitely play outside, explosive player, can win vertically down the field, great route runner. He's a player that could be moved around a whole bunch of different places. So, I mean, he's the type of kids that you're excited to coach because you're excited what you get to do with them. And so I'm fired up to have all those guys. Definitely need to just get in, gel with the team, learn it as fast as they can, and let's just go. Put the ball down and compete.
Congratulations on this class. Now, listen, take it easy on the mock play-by-play. I heard it coming in here with the headset on. It's a little disconcerting. It's okay. We'll work through it.
Hey, maybe in another life
it was pretty good.
I've watched enough sports in my life that I know the play-by-plays that I loved growing up listening to. So I'm trying to mimic them a little bit.
I love it. Hey, thank you for this time.
Yeah, appreciate y'all. Go Cougs.
Thank you. Go Cougs. 2024. We'll do both. We'll do the fist pound. We'll do the handshake.
Yeah,
we'll do
went
both.
for the handshake. Got the hug.
We'll do all of it. That's Coach Ben Arbuckle here. Now, Coug fans can score big on game days. Get a classic 20-piece chicken McNuggets and medium fries for just $10.99 when you order ahead on the app at participating McDonald's. We'll take our final break, and we'll get the campus director of recruiting, Taylor Long, on here live next to put a ball on it, figure out what the pitch is when guys come here on campus, as we've got our 2024 signing class. It's signing day here, presented by Northern Quest. We continue next.
Whoever said good things come to those who wait clearly never ordered in the McDonald's app. Just order ahead in the app, and you can pick up when you get here.
Cougars fans, now you can win all season. On game day, get a 20-piece chicken McNuggets and 2 medium fries for just $10.99 when you order ahead on the app. Valid once per day through December 1st, 2023. At participating McDonald's, must opt into rewards.
With the WSU debit card from Giesa, it's hard to tell who's supporting who. When the Coug fans use their WSU card, they show off their Coug pride, and donations are made back to Cougar Athletics. But the card supports the Coug fan with big savings by helping them earn 7% APY with Smart Plus checking. So does the card support the Coug fan, or does the Coug fan support the card? It doesn't matter. All that matters is that the WSU card supports Cougar Athletics and your wallet at the same time. Get your WSU card at Giesa.com. Checking account transaction requirements, terms and conditions apply. Checking account annual percentage yields range from 0.01 to 7% depending on balance. Minimum balance obtained APY ranges from $0 to $5,000.
This is Drew Bledsoe, and you're listening to Cougar Football.
Bledsoe calls his play, has the ball, throws a home run ball from the end zone to Bobo. Oh! Washington State!
On the Washington State Sports Network.
It's college football's latest tradition. It's fierce, glorious, and ridiculously delicious. It's the Nom Nom Snack Bowl Flyaway. Just download the Nom Nom app to enter the competition. Play all season long to score free snacks and tasty tailgate treats. One lucky champion will win a free trip for 2 to the Pac-12 championship game in Las Vegas, Nevada. Go Cougs! Ready for a snack down? Download the Nom Nom app to find out.
Nom Nom.
Life in the snack lane.
Hampton in Pullman is just a short drive from the WSU campus. Centrally located to restaurants and shopping, they've got you covered for all your lodging needs. With their spacious rooms, famous Hampton waffles, a cozy outdoor patio, a gift shop for all your Cougar gear needs, and the friendliest staff in town to make you feel right at home. Visit HamptonByHilton.com to reserve a room for your next trip to the Palouse. Coug owned and Coug managed. It matters where you stay. Hampton in Pullman, Hilton for the stay.
Back here live in the Cougar Football Complex. It's the signing day special with 23 new Cougs here to Cougar football. Earn your bragging rights at Northern Quest with more slot machines, table games, restaurants, lounges, and luxury hotel rooms than anyone else in the region. Northern Quest, yes, the best. More at northernquest.com. Really pleased to be joined now by Taylor Long, the campus director of recruiting. So, Taylor, bring me through the pitch and what happens. What's a day in the life? You're a big-time football player. You're thinking about being a Coug. Coug's thinking about bringing you on, maybe offering. What happens? You land in Pullman, and what?
Yeah, well, thank you so much for having me on. Really, a lot of credit goes to the pre-process that the coaches were talking about. So a lot of the, getting to know them after they're done evaluating them, building those types of relationships and making sure there's someone that fits our type of culture. Really, once they get on campus, it's a little bit less of how a lot of schools talk about a sales pitch or what you're selling them. Here, it feels a little bit more like with Coach Dickert and this staff, be who you are, show them who we are, family atmosphere, and be ourselves, maybe a little bit more than what we're selling or trying to convince them of something. So it's more create an open space for them to get to know who we are as people.
Just experience it.
Correct. And us get to know who they are as well, while also highlighting, academics, different specific parts of campus that we want them to see.
It's refreshing.
Yes.
Going somewhere, not getting constantly bombarded by pitch,
absolutely,
if you will.
Yes.
I apologize for cutting you short.
Yep.
We are up against it.
No.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Taylor Long, our campus director of recruiting. Huge thanks to Coach Dickert for his time, Coach Schmedding, Coach Arbuckle. Behind the cameras, Jared Prengruber and Jerry Kylo gets us on the air as well. You can take off if you need to. Thank you, Taylor. Appreciate it. Luke Hallett back in the U.S. Bank Network studios for getting us on the air as Washington State's class, 23 kids in this period here, 21 at high school, 2 transfers, and about 10 early enrollees as Washington State football rolls on here. Cougar basketball is tomorrow night in Spokane Arena. Cougs take on Boise State tomorrow, 8 o'clock tip, 7:30 airtime with Eggs.
You've been listening to the Cougar Signing Day Special, presented by Northern Quest Resort and Casino on the Washington State Sports Network from Learfield. Earn bragging rights at Northern Quest in Spokane, Washington, with more slot machines, table games, restaurants, lounges, and luxury hotel rooms than anyone else in the region.